You messed it up. Welcome to the San Francisco Dharma Collective, where we thought we were going to have a new microphone tonight, but due to engineering difficulties, we do not have a new microphone. So we have the old microphone. Hopefully we have at least solved the streaming quality issue, and then next week we'll also solve the microphone quality issue. So these are the promises I promise you. Hello, you guys are late. Come on in. Hurry up. Late for timelessness. Don't touch the tripod. Want to make everyone really tense, super self-conscious. That's the tantric move. We're going to make you super tense and super self-conscious, and then meditate on that. Okay, so as usual, they call me Michael Taft, and I will lead a very long guided meditation of approximately 60 minutes in length, and you can follow along with that guidance if you wish, and if you don't wish, then don't. Do not follow the guidance, do your own meditation. However, who can tell me what the two rules are? Yes. You, who always breaks them.
Don't move and don't talk.
That's right. Well, actually, don't make sounds. Don't move and don't make sounds. So don't move means do not move. Is there any lack of clarity about what do not move means? Good. Also, don't make sounds. That's it. Other than that, you have total freedom, absolute internal freedom. So do whatever meditation you want. Sit there and do math problems if you want. It's up to you. It is your life. It's your mind. However, in the group space, in our intersubjective meditational, lotus field here, we want stillness and silence. So this is the bargain we're all making together. Good. So let me think if there's anything else. I don't think there is. I think we dive right in on Thursday nights. So let's dive right in. Begin by settling into your meditation posture, your dhyānāsana, which should feel nice and Buddha-like. You want to feel very stable. Have your legs and butt and everything arranged so that you feel very, very, very stable. You're not going to tip over in any direction. You're not kind of like unbalanced. And then you sit up straight. It'd be nice if you had a little curve in your lower back, the one that's supposed to be there, rather than kind of hunched over. There's that little inward curve. And then your spine is straight. Doesn't have to be military straight, but just kind of upright. Your shoulders are rotated back and down, not hunched up around your ears, frozen in apoplectic terror like they usually are, but just kind of like relaxed and open, at least slightly, just a little bit. And then you want to have the back of your neck open, so, because we're getting that curve again. So to do that, you have your chin just a teeny bit down. Some people, especially if you're doing like some kind of really high resolution visualization, you'll tend to get your chin way up in the air, but I want you to keep remembering to keep your chin just below horizontal, so that back of your neck is open. And there's this weird sensation that you can do to get your posture right, which is to pretend that the top of your head is attached to the ceiling via a cable or a string, and that it's just got the exact right amount of tension to just lift your spine, your head up in a very comfortable manner. And right at that place where it's just nice and upright and yet not uncomfortable, that's the spot. Good, so this is our elegant repose for meditation. And from this place, I would like you to begin deep breathing, breathing using your belly, so that your belly is actually visibly rising and falling with each breath. Actually see it expanding, not your chest, not your shoulders, your belly, your gut, the thing that you're holding in so that everyone thinks you have a flat stomach. No one can see right now except for me, so just let that thing hang all the way out and allow it to literally poof outward on the in-breath and then retract backward on the out-breath. So you're doing nice, slow, deep breathing. You can use your throat to regulate your breathing using the what is called ujjayi breath. So it sounds sort of like you're a deep sea diver. It's like, right, there's a little bit of a sound there just during this part, this shamatha opening. You can just use that ujjayi breath to make your breath long and smooth, so you get a really, 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 really long, deep in-breath. Really, 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 really long out-breath. I don't think you can say deep out-breath, but out-breath. And then to help yourself stay focused, you're focusing on the body sensations of breathing in the belly. So you're actually feeling your belly as it expands and contracts. That's what the focus object is. And then if you want to help that focus, you can use the labels breathing in and breathing out. Now if you're doing really long in-breaths and out-breaths, you can just repeat those. So, let's say you're doing a really long in-breath. Could go breathing in, breathing in, breathing in, breathing in. Then the long out-breath, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out, right? So really working that belly, letting it expand greatly on the in-breath, contract equally greatly on the out-breath, focusing on the sensations in the belly region. You can feel even your perineum, your hips, your kidney region, the side of the belly, or all the way back in the kidneys. Just notice the sensation of expansion and contraction there as you breathe. And then for those of you who want to push the limits, up the ante, go for broke, I want you to consider the possibility that you could actually extend the out-breath quite a bit longer than the in-breath. So we do a nice, deep, long in-breath, but then an exceedingly slow, long out-breath, and that ujjayi throat constriction or throat regulator will help you to do that. Okay, so long, deep in-breath, and then if you wish, extra long out-breath. We're going to do this for a long time so you can get nice and focused. As you're continuing to do this, I want you to just, with the background of awareness, make sure that your eyelids, your jaw, your face is just released. You don't have to move it in any way, just allow it to be slack. Make sure your throat is open, you're not tensing your throat. If you can release your diaphragm on command, that's good. Allow your arms and hands to be as relaxed as if you were, as if they were, let's say, wet seaweed, zero tension in your arms and hands. And then allow your hips, your pelvic region to relax also. This is the shamatha portion of the meditation, so we're just getting nice and relaxed, right? Shamatha has the same root as shanti or shalom or salam, right? All those words that mean peace in various Indo-European languages. So shamatha, peaceful abiding. We're hanging out in peace. And part of that is you get nice and focused, but you're also allowed to just enjoy it. It feels good to relax and breathe. So 1 billion years of evolution have made breathing feel good. So notice that it feels very pleasant to breathe. And if you are doing the very long out breaths, you notice that after a while, those are going to start to want to go on forever. It just goes out, 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 and it seems like you might just die before you take an in-breath. So that would be achieving the goal almost. So just let that almost happen before you breathe back in if you're experiencing that. Good. Now, of course, if you wish to continue just doing shamatha, then just continue with that deep breathing, however, without any ujjayi sound. Otherwise, if you are able to simply contact vast spacious awareness voluntarily, then just do that. Go there and continue to contact it. For those who have a little bit harder of a time doing that, we'll do the back of the head method, so just allow awareness to kind of investigate sensation in the back of your head, the back of the palate, maybe the back of the throat, somewhere back there. Just not thinking logically, not thinking conceptually, just feeling around an experience, feel around till you notice a space, a hole, a place with nothing in it. And then just project awareness outside of that hole in the back, and then you'll be noticing vast spacious awareness. Vast spacious awareness is not only vast and spacious, it has no content. It's still, quiet, and peaceful. It has no boundaries, it has no beginning and no end, it has no activity of any kind. It's simply enormous and still and peaceful. So keep contacting that. And as you begin to contact that more deeply, I want you to put a little bit of effort into moving further and further and further into vast spacious awareness, so that you're leaving the body behind, leaving the world behind, leaving thoughts behind, leaving emotions behind, leaving problems behind, leaving everything behind, and just rocketing out, as it were, further and further and further into vast spacious awareness, where there's no up, no down, no body, no anything except vastness, spaciousness, stillness, silence, peacefulness, and wakefulness. It's very awake, very bright, very clear. But just keep going deeper and deeper, further and further out into this boundarylessness. And if thoughts arise, emotions arise, body sensations arise, sounds or sights in the world around you arise, just let that be way, way, way back there somewhere. Instead, you're just noticing this spacious peace. The only real effort here is very, 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 very tiny effort to just keep moving further out into it and to continue to notice it. further and further, deeper and deeper, more and more completely going into vast, spacious awareness. noticing body sensations arising in vast spacious awareness. Allow yourself to be centered in the heart, so that you're, in a way, feeling the center of awareness, the center of being, the center of spaciousness arising in the chest region, in the heart region. Just notice that. But besides being centered in the heart, if any thoughts arise, they simply evaporate into vast spacious awareness. Any emotions dissolve into vast spacious awareness. Even the sense of the outside world just becomes paper thin, becomes like a dream, dissolves into vast spacious awareness. But all centered in just the littlest, the tiniest sense of their being, the heart region. If there's any mental struggle occurring of any kind, just notice that vast spacious awareness is so huge, that struggle just dissolves into it, it evaporates into it immediately. If there's any pain, any difficulties, it just evaporates into this stillness and peace. Let's say you get caught up in a thought for a moment, that's fine. Remember, we're never trying to stop, control, manipulate, or have an agenda with thoughts. They're just happening like anything else. They don't matter at all. But if you get caught up in one, notice that when it dissolves into space and disappears, there's just space before the next thought arises. And then that one twists and turns for a moment and then dissolves, and then there's just space. So in the gap between thinking, there is simply vast peace. And if you look clearly enough, even the thoughts themselves are composed of nothing other than vast spacious awareness. Same thing with emotions. If an emotion arises, it just dissolves into space and peace. Another emotional sensation arises, just dissolves into infinite space and peace. And you can't help but notice that emotions themselves are literally made of space and peace. Deep inside, they appear to have form, they appear to have content, but really they're just a kind of wrapper around space, vastness, stillness. Notice that even the sense of you being you at all is just a kind of shaping of vast, spacious awareness. It's just really empty and silent and enormous. And very, very awake. It is just vast, spacious awareness itself that is noticing anything. Vast, spacious awareness, doing the meditation. Vast, spacious awareness, pretending to be a person. a somewhat something moving, dreamlike on a fading road. Now, body sensations are made of vast spacious awareness, so notice that every sensation is kind of bubbling out of space, or is like vibrant, vibrating intensity that turns into the feeling of something. It starts out as vast spacious awareness and then pops into being with vivid, bright, crisp, clear energy. Every sensation is like lightning at night, coming out of nothing, coming into vivid, brilliant, intense being, and then vanishing again. Or like a rainbow that's sort of there and sort of not there at the same time, made of light. Made of dreams. The feeling of having a body at all is like fireworks. Exploding in the space of awareness. Over and over. Very sharp. completely fresh. Utterly new and unpredictable and spontaneous. Really get a sense of this vibrating, flashing, bright quality of each sensation, coming out of nothing, going back to nothing, but in between, exquisite, intense, vivid, gorgeous. Something similar is happening with emotional sensations. Like sunlight reflecting on the water, they're just there and not there, breaking out of nothing, intensely, sharply, vividly, erupting into awareness and then disappearing again over and over. They have no history, they have no future, they have no background, they have no reason. They are neither good nor bad. There's not good emotions or bad emotions. There's just vivid, bright, clear, crisp, totally unpredictable, utterly spontaneous, and intensely beautiful arising of sensation. Ever fresh, utterly new. Shocking. thoughts too are nothing but spontaneous eruptions from complete emptiness. They're like party poppers, just boom, fireworks, and then they're done. From nothing to nothing, in between, electric, vivid, bright, crisp, clear, nothing. Empty. Beautiful. Exquisite. Totally unpredictable. This, of course, adds up to any sense of you being you at all is also just fireworks in the void. A dream projected on a cloud that vanishes over and over, but then comes back bright, beautiful, spontaneous, clean, perfect, and then it's gone again. Like after a rainstorm, there's still a little bit of rain happening, the sun comes out under a cloud, you get that rainbow in the middle of the rain, the sunlight blasting through, and then it goes away again. Moment by moment, complete spontaneity, absolute unpredictability, bright, vivid, clarity. Good. So feel free to very slowly and mindfully move and stretch. Orient yourself to the room around you. In just a minute, we'll turn on the lights. This is how we're aware of the passage of time at SFDC, is that now it's starting to be dark at the end of the meditation. Whereas a month ago it was still light. So we're not trying to, generate some kind of special state. Just trying to show you how to notice what's already happening. Right? This is just investigating subjectivity clearly. Right? You have subjective awareness if you look at it clearly without lots and lots of layers of concept, but just kind of nakedly, just notice. There's a lot of sense of space, and that anything that's happening seems to be just kind of erupting in that space. And because it takes a lot of concept, it takes a lot of kind of prediction and filtering to sense that something happened before and something's going to happen later. When we let go of that and really get down to the bare metal, it just seems like everything's spontaneously occurring. Didn't come from anywhere, isn't going anywhere, it just keeps being fresh and new moment by moment because we're not trying to think about where it's going to go or where it came from. So it has this brand new baby scream, every second. Wow, just got born. Every moment. In Japanese culture, there's this really beautiful mythology about kitsune, foxes. And when the foxes get married when the sun is shining and it's raining at the same time, right? Where you have that super weird moment of part of the sky is raining, the other part of the sky the sun came out, and there's just this fabulous moment of rainbows and kind of ephemerality, and totally, it feels like there's a couple different worlds merging suddenly, and that's when the fox beings, like the fox spirits, just get married. They don't want you to see that, by the way. So, you guys have ever, if you see that happening, hide. You can still peek, but don't let them see you doing that. If you've ever seen that Kurosawa movie called Dreams, right? They have a whole sequence about that, and he really emphasizes the otherworldly kind of ephemerality, or let's say merging of worlds. Very dreamlike. The movie's called Dreams, right? And it's a great image. I'm only bringing it up because it's a great image for this sense of how fucking weird and beautiful and uncanny and impossible experience really is. How vivid and shocking and spontaneous every moment of being really is. And we spend a tremendous amount of time learning to not notice that. Because it's not practical, right? And we do need to be practical, there's nothing wrong with that. But in one sense, it's like layering ourselves, wrapping ourselves in layer after layer after layer of like mattresses, just covered in mattresses made of these of concepts and of prediction and of practicality, so that we don't notice the fox wedding. We don't notice this moment of shocking beauty and uncanny quasi-reality that's happening every second. It's like we pre-wrap ourselves in like a death shawl, right, or a death call. Let's try to sort of dead that down until we can just, do the taxes or whatever. But, and again, nothing wrong with that. It's cool to be good at eating. But, most of us are stuck there. We just forgot. And it's a habit of attention. You just kind of aiming attention all the time right into the center of like this giant pile of mattresses, meaning right into all the concepts, and just totally manipulating concepts continuously. And there's no juice there. There's nothing yummy there. Or let's say very little. Some of it can be beautiful, some of it can be powerful, but usually that's not the kind of concepts we're working with. Most people, most of the time. And so, you get into the habit of attention long enough, they keep paying you to do it, they keep praising you, and eventually you forget that that's not the whole thing. And so, I was just out in the Midwest where I'm from, and it took a long time to even explain like what I do. People are like, oh, what do you do for a living? There's this fox wedding. Like, well, I teach meditation, and sort of like, what? But eventually they would say either like, oh yeah, I need to relax. Okay. Or there's this sense of like, oh yeah, altered state. But really what I'm saying is that no, every day is the altered state, right? Where you're on purpose forgetting all the obvious, amazing beauty and power and intensity, or even, let's say, horror and cosmic shame and, abject terror of being alive, and instead just kind of wrapping yourself into this ball of altered state where all you can do is sort of like think about Netflix. And how interesting that is. So this is coming out of the altered state, just a little bit, right? Like it just keep pointing and pointing and pointing and pointing and pointing and pointing and saying, it's right there already. We're gonna get all quiet and breathe funny and sit in a dark room all together, but like really I'm just trying to show you what's there when you come out of this bizarre altered state into just being. Right? There's a reason all the Zen weirdos will call this, the natural mind, the normal mind, everyday mind, right? They're not kidding. That's exactly correct. It's just what's actually happening. So this is like week after week after month after year, the questions and comments and reports that arise are like, I'm really struggling with this, or it's really hard, or I can't understand what the fuck you want from me. You know. Hey, you showed up on your own. I'll just sit here talking, box sweating. But, and there's not, of course, I mean, I understand, like, what that's about from long experience of my own, right? Of just being super dense about this. But it's like, it's the opposite of all that, right? It's no struggle and no problem and not hard. The struggle and the problem and the hard and the not understanding is just going further into the concepts, right? It's just pushing in the wrong direction. I remember Robert Anton Wilson, the author, who, back in mainly the 70s, just wrote the most amazing, like, awakening stuff. Would say that a lot of what we're doing here is a trick to just make you try so hard with such futility for so long that you finally give up. And when you give up, then you get it. Right? Oh. And then it's completely disappointing. Oh, it was just that thing that's always there. Yes, that thing that's always there. That is shockingly real and vividly, spontaneously exquisite, and yet totally normal. So, I'm just going to cut to the chase before you ask all the questions about. I'm just going to say, just let go. Right, drop the ball. Right, you're holding on to it, drop the ball. Just relax. No, it's just right there. Every time the thoughts stop, and again, we're not trying to stop thinking, but thoughts do stop and start on their own, and if you notice every time one comes to an end, you're just, there it is. There's just boundless space, total awareness. In a way, you could call it complete confusion, right? Just no direction, no nothing, just bright awakeness. And then the stuff starts again. But I don't like this phrase monkey mind. I would never call it. I think the mind is beautiful. Thoughts are amazing. They're just vivid emptiness, right? Frothing forth. It's like you take a Mentos and put it in a Coke bottle, and that's thinking. It's gorgeous. Trying to stop it is pointless. Why would you do that? It's just more stuff happening. It's empty anyway. Even all this wakefulness is empty, right? I'm talking about vast spacious awareness, but if you make a thing out of vast spacious awareness, you're losing it again, right? It's not a thing. It's just there, right? It's just another ephemerality, super bright, vivid, gone the next moment. So, now that I've discouraged all questioning, I'll open the floor for questions and comments and reports, and impassioned critiques. Genevieve.
Why does vast spacious awareness like to pretend to be people?
I don't know. It just seems to like to do that. There's all kinds of traditional answers right? It's lila, it's the play of awareness, okay? Or you have all kinds of, stuff to do to learn to love Jesus before you can go back to being best. There's also lots of stories. Who knows? But it does, right? And it just does it over and over and over. So that's one of those unknowable things. But watching it do it is cool. It likes watching it do it.
Maybe a better question would be, and this is purely an opinion question, but do you think there is a reason for it? Is it just an accidental occurrence? Is it just like, almost like physics? It's just what it does?
I don't know.
No opinions?
No opinion. I mean, I really, what I know is even thinking like that just gets in the way of just letting it do the thing. And that's not to say I haven't spent endless decades thinking about that question, but it just, nobody knows. But it's really cool to watch it do it. Because it's watching itself do it, right? So, and it's empty at the same time, so it's like the empty becomes the full goes back to being empty. It just likes to do that. And we keep contrasting like vast spacious awareness with stuff. Here's the experience of a sensation, here's the experience of an emotion, here's the experience of the outside world, here's the experience of another person's eyes, here's the experience. And so we're contrasting them, and really they're made of each other, right? Emptiness is form, form is emptiness. They're made of each other, but there's a third thing in between, which is like the energy of the changing, right? So there's this in-between, like, movement, and that's the thing I was pointing at the end there, is like when the space turns into something, it's this, wow! It's got a real vividness, intensity to it that is just amazing before, like in that first moment before then, if you then grab onto it and start talking about it and turning it into, I don't know, postmodern critique or something, it gets really deadened, right? But in that first moment, it's so there's the energy of back and forth. There's even a kind of energy of when it disappears. And that's the disappearing is incredibly clean. Right? It's really fresh, and it's the meaning of relief. Utter is a total meaning. That's the word when the chant, like the Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. Right? So I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. What's that refuge they're talking about? So kind of a weird word. Sharanam, refuge, right? Sharanam. But I think of it as, this is not the real translation, but just totally idiosyncratically. To me, that word means like relief. The real relief, the letting, just total ability to let go. And so when things go from being to just vanishing, which they're doing continuously, they vanish, total relief. That's the sharanam, that's the refuge, right? Just utterly let go. Problem solved. What's your name?
Elon.
I always forget that.
I come once every few months
Yeah.
for 3 days now.
Hi, Elon.
So the watching how do you elect your language with the thunder and things being very vivid. I was kind of like
It was lightning, but okay.
lightning, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I sensed a little bit of craving to be like in your brain, like the vividness with which you were describing everything.
You really, really don't want to be in my brain.
Okay.
It's a horrible place.
I like the poetry.
Yeah.
Sometimes though it's like I feel myself if I'm just what, and I think you were just talking about it. That's why I want to ask this question. But I feel like I'm always staying in the now and just watching the lightning come. I start to become very dizzy, like
Good.
falling, and
Yeah,
the whole
that's
body starts
That's good.
feeling nauseous and uncomfortable.
Perfect.
Why is that a good thing? I don't really know.
Because the sense of orientation, the sense of being on solid ground, the sense of being all comfortable is the layers of mattress that are keeping you like safe and numb. And when you start to come out of, you start peeling off the mattresses, start coming out of the, you know how when you come out of numbness, it tingles in an uncomfortable way for a while before it's wide awake? That dizzy, falling, nausea, it's just, you're waking up. Right? And it's always those qualities. Usually, waking up does not feel like, ah. It feels like super weird and uncomfortable and nauseating and like you're falling. I almost did a meditation tonight where you just go out into vast space and then just keep falling. And then you go again and fall. That's the actual meditation. You just go out and feel like you're falling. It's powerful because it starts to peel away the muslin, that you've wrapped yourself in. So that's good. Waking up is uncomfortable.
Because we're also talking about the disintegration being relaxing.
Yeah.
I guess.
So it's relaxing if you let go. If you hold on, it feels like you're being torn apart very uncomfortably. So relax. Certainly the first many, many times that I was going through that was, I would just hang on, fuck, and it would just be like being dismembered very uncomfortably. So, but, you find out that's the only way forward and also that it's pointless to tense up and then it starts to feel really delicious. Light and frothy, rather than being shredded. Cassandra.
I have a weird thing this meditation.
You have to talk up.
Okay, I have a weird thing this meditation where my left side seemed to be doing the thing fine, but my right side was extremely contracted, especially in comparison. Like, I could feel a lot of contraction and pressure on the eye and face here, even though it seemed like I was doing the same muscle movements, but this side was just open or whatever.
You're having a, unilateral awakening. It's bilateral dissymmetry.
So
One hemisphere's awakening.
is that actually a thing that can happen?
It just happened to you. So we're gonna presume it can happen at least once.
Yeah, enough one.
You seem to be n=1 about a lot of stuff. So
That seems to be the case. Maybe I just been using weird concepts for them. It should stop.
what else? Yes. Who are you?
My name's Alex.
Alex.
Yeah. I experienced everything Elon was saying. and also fear. Like I actually kind of feel it now still. Like some fear in my heart, and a part of it was like, fuck no, I'm not going in there. And
Go into the fear.
yeah. I don't want to, or at least part of it doesn't want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be.
But I do want to, but it's just
Yeah.
scary.
Okay. You get to go in there as quickly or as slowly as you want. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking. It's not pressure for me, you know. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
My
Hi.
name's Allison.
Hi, Allison.
Sort of a report from last week and this week, but I've been getting to a really enjoyable, delightful place with the alive awareness. And then last week, when we transitioned into the nothingness and emptiness, it was like my brain just screamed no. It was like, we don't want to go there. And
Why not? Why not?
Well, I thought about it and I realized that in my mind, the awareness was alive and the emptiness was dead, and I didn't want to go to the other side, and I felt like there was another side, and so I got so hung up on the other side that I was just sort of like having that wrestling point. So I thought to myself after, like, that was a very strong reaction, that was interesting. So I went home and tried it again and tried to not think about the nothingness and the emptiness and what I think it is so much, but just really like look until I feel like I've been banging my head against the wall forever, looking for the source of awareness. And I still think I probably have a long way to go in terms of like moving past an apparent and very strong intrinsic like draw to duality in that area. But I was
It's just
able-
because you think you're going to die when you notice the true emptiness. But you won't.
Yeah, and I think in my mind that it's like they're opposites.
Really, they're the same thing, right?
Yeah, and so I noticed with this particular awareness, emptiness kind of process that it's brought up a like strong internal belief that I think has been there for, well, I know how long it's been there, since I first went to church. But it was just really interesting to kind of come upon that because I had gotten very comfortable with like myself as whole and spacious, and I was like, oh, this is great, like awareness is beautiful. And then we got to that one and it was like, really, it's each meditation that involves nothing or emptiness,
Which is
as a
all of them.
focus. And verbally, I feel myself like starting to notice the similarities and similar elements more. But it was interesting to me how strong that aversion was when it first came up. I don't think I've had like a mental like no come up in a while.
It just means that you're right on the edge of just noticing it completely. And there's a last little bit of Allison who's doing the meditation and enjoying, and that's just going to dissolve when it hits that. And it doesn't want to dissolve, right? Because if that's annihilation, then that's bad. So what am I going to say to do?
More.
Yeah, and stop making that duality and just let it dissolve, and it will be extremely terrifying and disorienting, and you might feel like you're falling or nauseous, maybe you want to puke or blow up or turn inside out or whatever, but in the next moment it'll be fine. Extremely fine. No big deal. It's already completely suffusing you anyway. It is you. You know, it's like the the doll made of salt that went to the ocean and jumped in. Just dissolves into the ocean. It always was part of that, right? It's nothing goes away. It just that you're hanging on to the feeling of separateness. Cool, hang on to it. Cling to it till your fingers bleed or whatever. But eventually, every other second, you're actually letting go of it anyway. It's a weird paradox that you think there's something to do. Oh, I need to kind of figure out how to let go of this. It's already all the way let go. You're just pretending. So just pretend until you're bored, and then see what's really happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have to like go do.
Let's meditate. Very briefly. Good. Now I believe it is time for the traditional SFDC announcements. Okay.
Hi. Thanks for joining us. And all you guys, thank you. That was, where else could you get a metaphor about Mentos in a Coke bottle? Is that really something that happens?
It is.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you.
I'm gonna try that. That sounds really great. So I'm sorry, I just can't get that out of my head. Yeah, you think?
Fucking watch some videos to get a handle on what's about to happen.
Really? Is there a YouTube on that?
Yeah, you can't do it inside.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll try and get through this really quick. Let's see. What we have next is Death Sangha. So anyone here who has not been, Allison, have you gone? I think that you should. Okay, I think you, of all people, definitely need to be coming to Death
It's on my
Sangha.
calendar.
Okay, well, it's this Saturday. It's this Saturday at 7, from 7 to 9, and it's really, really good. So please come to that. And I think I finally have the date right, the 24th is Vincent Horn.
Me and
Michael
Vince
Taft.
Horn, yeah, for
Yep.
Metadharma.
Yep. And if you haven't had a chance, listen to Michael's interview with Vince. He's done a couple of them, but there's one, I think, just a couple weeks ago. It's the one before the last one.
It is the last one.
It is the last one. Yeah, check it out. It's like, I think it'd be great to prep and hear that ahead of time. And then there's one where he is on Vince's show. Kidding. Vince's show?
Yeah, so
Buddhist Geeks.
Vince on Buddhist Geeks
Yeah.
interviews me. Actually, we're just interviewing each other and we split it into two parts.
Yeah, so check it out. And then if you hadn't heard, and I think some people haven't heard about this Saturday, Michael Owens, who leads the Sutra Study class and also does some really cool series off to the side, is doing a day long, and he doesn't do those very often, and it's from 10 until 4 p.m., and he's going to be doing 3 different sits from 3 different traditions. It's going to be wild. Please, please, please come. It'll be great, and if you want to do that, you can do a double header. You can be like me, and like Genevieve, and like probably other people here who are going to sit with Michael Owens, and then we're going to sit with Michael Taft, and it's going to be an amazing, awesome Saturday. And Michael's retreat is fast approaching. I think you can still sign up. Yes, no?
You're talking about the Canadian one?
Yep.
Only if you want to be in a tent.
There's only 10 slots.
Only tent slots.
Yeah, that's great. It's beautiful. It's, it's Vancouver Island. It's actually Denman Island. So check that out on Michael's Deconstructing Yourself site. And if you'd like to help out the center, sign up to volunteer or give us some of your hard-earned cash. We accept Donna, we accept checks, credit cards, PayPal, Venmo, all that good stuff. Venmo, PayPal, talking to you guys. That's all.
Except for the fact that we have a Deconstructing Yourself Vajrapani retreat happening the weekend of November 9, 10, 11. It's a 3-day retreat down at Vajrapani, kind of near Santa Cruz.
But that's not till November, right?
Yep,
Okay. November?
that's what's on my mind.
Okay.
Did you have a day-long retreat too?
That's the Metadharma, yeah.
Yeah.
August 24th. Thank you, Suzanne. All right, everybody. Don't forget to donate. I give all my dana to the center, so every time you come on Thursday night and donate, it's like a double donation, a matching donation, so give until your eyes bleed. And I'll see you next week. Thanks. And Saturday, for those who dare to come to Death Sangha, I will see you Saturday.